Hi guys, so today I'm going to be telling a story on how I got jumped by my own cheer teammates at the Morgan State University. Yay! Okay, so these were girls that I hung out with. I can't even call them my friends because the red flags were there in the beginning. And I think the funniest part is that me and my best friend made a list, okay? Before all of this happened, me and my best friend had a list of every weird thing that was said, every weird interaction, all of that. We had written it down because every time something was weirdly said from them, I would go back to my best friend and be like, should I feel some type of way about this? This is what this person said. And every single time my best friend was like, what? Like, you let them? And unfortunately, yes. So after having that conversation with my best friend and just that realization, I started just distancing myself from them. But then when I was around them, because my anxiety was so bad around them, I was always on the phone with my boyfriend, always. And the good thing about him always being on the phone is that he overheard a lot of the weird stuff. Like, one example is I was on the phone with him, and I was just feeling cute. Like, I was dressed up, feeling cute. I was making faces at the phone. And then randomly, a girl from the friend group was just like, I didn't even know they made tote bags that small. I don't know if she didn't think I heard her, but I heard her and I kind of brushed it off. But my boyfriend on the phone was just like, what? Just like, huh? No, I can go all day about all the weird stuff that they said. But honestly, what bothered me the most is the fact that they would always talk about how my boyfriend was white, had so many jokes, just brought him up often, had this opinion. And then they would just make fun of the way that I talked. And just I don't know, just downplayed me as a black person. And I felt like that was just the most disrespect. And now we can talk about what started the initial harassment and bullying. But I'm sure we already know, because of a boy. So, my roommate was talking to a football player that was talking to another girl on my cheer team. Well, a few other girls on the cheer team. And that girl ended up being in my stunt group. So one day she asked me, she's like, hey, do you know such and such? And I'm just like, yeah. She's like, do you know who he talks to? Me being the good roommate that I am, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Sorry. I just know he's friendly. And we left it at that. So, after she had asked me that question, I guess after practice, she ended up meeting up with two other girls from the friend group. So she ended up asking them, I'm guessing, the same question that she asked me, and they ended up giving her the information that she needed, and then she gave them the information that they needed. So then we get a text in the group chat from those two other girls, hey, meeting in the lounge room, we got some tea. Part 2 coming soon. Okay, so we all meet up on the 9th floor lounge. And so we're all just waiting for T and M to come in. Because they're like, oh, we got some tea. Oh, we got some tea. So they finally come in. And they're like, oh, this is what such and such told us. They've been meeting up. They met up this night. And which was crazy because it was the same night he had came into me and my roommate's room. So that was just crazy. Mind y'all, I am on the phone with my man. I tell y'all, I don't go around these people without my man on the phone. I don't do it. So they're all collectively talking just in awe, I guess. And then they're like, oh, let's go confront him in his room. And so that's when I took myself back to my room and got in bed talking to my man. Then my roommate comes in, and I'm like, oh, how you feel? Are you okay? She's like, Miss Nonchalant. She likes to act nonchalant. I don't care. I'm like, girl, you know you hurt. So then Jay comes into the room, and she's saying, we went to his room. Mind you, what was funny was, when I left that lounge, the only thing I heard in that hallway was giggling and laughing and cackling. That's it. It wasn't no standing on no business, no confronting. So at this point, I'm talking to my man again. And then Jay is like, oh, and Mayana, Kay said you were weird because T says she overheard S ask you if you knew who he was talking to. I'm like, okay, I didn't give her any information, so why does it matter? Why is it important? So I just ended up being straight up, and I was just like, yeah, I didn't say anything because I don't like being that he says, she says stuff. So I just keep my mouth shut. I don't want to be in it. That's literally what I said. So they felt some type of way, so they kind of just gave a look. But my roommate was just kind of like, yeah, I don't really care. She just kept saying I don't really care that you didn't say anything because it's not we're, and she kept repeating that. And at that point I was just like, girl, you care. So my man's on the phone. And we're both just confused because he's like, so they're mad at you because she asked you a question and you didn't give them any information, but the other two girls are the ones that ran their mouths. but they're mad at you. So we were both just trying to understand. We were really just trying to understand, but we were just like, oh well. And we went to bed that night. So the energy was weird and stuff. They didn't talk to me at practice or anything. So then I was just like, okay, I don't really care. So I ended up just talking to my stunt group the whole time. Ended up going to dinner with them and everything. And I guess that made them upset. I don't know. So they ended up going out that night. Didn't invite me. Boo-hoo. Whatever. So I wasn't talking to him at all. But my best friend's mom ended up sending me a motivational text. And it was a text that I really needed because my mom was sick. She was just telling me, keep pushing, everything's going to be okay. And towards the end of her message, it was just kind of like, don't let girls like pull you down, all that. Keep pushing. So I guess for some reason they just felt like that message was for them, but it wasn't. And so they felt some type of way. So now I have to tell you what these girls did to me in the room. Okay, so the moment you guys have all been waiting for, part 3. So I was getting ready to go to an event on campus because I was trying to be involved. And so as I'm walking down the hall, I see all of them, all of the friend group, and A decides to stop me. Her name doesn't get brought up much because I don't talk to this girl. Even though we're in the same friend group, I don't talk to her. So she stops me and she's like, hey, so we all need to talk about this friendship. So me and Jay's room. And so I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm about to go to an event, so later. So I call my best friend just so she can be on the phone and just listen to everything that was being said in this room because I didn't know what I was walking myself into. So I go in all cool or whatnot. It's just me and 5 other girls in the room. So I guess A was talking for the whole group or whatever, and she's just like talking at me saying, yeah, so we just felt like it was weird because you should have got information for us and you should have told us this, you should have told us that. And I'm just trying to figure out who you were talking about in your message because do you think I'm jealous of you? And so I had to stop her and I was just like, girl, we don't even talk, so we shouldn't have any issues. And her response was, yeah, I know we don't talk, so we shouldn't, but I'm just trying to figure it out. And at that point, I was just like, okay. Mind you, my roommate's in the room, Jay's in the room, T and M are in the room, and K. Even though this should have been Miss Nonchalant, my roommate's issue, she didn't say anything. So then T asked, so do you think I'm jealous of you? And I just kind of ignored it. And A continues to say how she felt it was weird that I had gone to Jay instead of my roommate to ask her if my roommate was mad at me. Which was very funny to me because my roommate was mad at me, but she, to my face, she said, like I said in the other video, she had said, no, it's cool, I don't really care. But to them, obviously she was telling them she felt some type of way because they were treating me weird. So it was just a lot of hypocritical stuff going on, and I was just sitting there confused. And so T once again asked me, do you think I'm jealous of you? And so which I just responded, if the shoe fits, wear it. So this ticked T off. So T starts going off saying, I don't know who you think you are, Mayana, who you think you're talking to. I don't know where this even came from. So she's yelling at me, and then A and all of them are like hyping her up, and she continues to yell, and I'm just sitting here like, are you done? Like, one thing I know how to do is when you are calm, it just makes people even more mad. So then T is like, you just pissed me off, so I'm leaving. She ended up walking to the door and didn't even walk out. So at this moment, I'm irritated. And I'm just looking like straight face. Like, at this point, I just want to leave. And so she's like, so yeah, we heard that you said you didn't like M. And I'm like, where did you hear that from? Who? And I was just like, that never came out my mouth. I said, I don't like how she talks to me, so I don't like being around her. And a lot of the reason why I felt like she talked to me the way that she did is because, unfortunately, I allowed it. I allowed it, and I didn't set boundaries the first time she did it, so she got too comfortable. But what was interesting to me is she's over here high as a kite, and she's shutting down in tears. Like, she's completely just staring at the wall, shut down in tears. So like I said, I'm just confused because A is confronting me, I guess, for her. It was just a weird situation. So I end up getting ticked off because M called herself, again, after staring at the wall for like the complete whole conversation, she decides to get smart with me. At this point, I'm already annoyed, so I just start going off. And they're like, stop yelling, you don't need to raise your voice. Jay talking about why are you banging on my stuff? Mind you, they did not have this same energy when T was just yelling at me in my face. And so I was just like, so I ended up just getting out of there. And one thing I know, I just played like I was unbothered. And I was like, bye guys, have a good night. Really, same voice and everything. And halfway out the door, T decides that, yeah, this is my moment. And so she gonna say, get the F out. They're over here hyping T up, laughing like it was funny. And you know, I had a little pause, but then I was just like, it's not even worth it. And I just went on with my night. So part 4 is going to be about how, I guess, the coach tried to resolve it by having a team meeting, but it ended up turning into like an episode of Baddies or something. So now part 4 is going to be about how they decided to have a team meeting with the whole team instead of just the group of people that were involved, and it turned into an episode of Baddies. So I got a few texts from Jay today. What's funny is I wasn't even going to name drop. I was going to protect them too. But I guess she or someone created 2 fake pages and were just commenting under my Instagram post. I deleted them, but hold on. Yeah. Okay, so part 4. The question that I keep seeing frequently is, how do they see the message that my best friend's mom sent? At the time, they were still in my spam, and that's when I had posted it on my story. So now we're going to talk about the team meeting for the friend group issue. The night before the next day practice, we get a message saying, rookies, you have a mandatory meeting that you have to attend. So the next day comes along, and we're at practice, but then the captain, I guess, that was supposed to lead the meeting just said it was canceled because a lot of people couldn't attend, like the rookies couldn't attend due to classes. So then that's when I peeped Jay with a piece of paper in her hand, and she just lets out like a frustrated like sigh, like she really wanted this meeting to happen that day. So that's when I knew the next day was gonna be some BS, and I was just like to myself the night before, just be prepared to defend yourself. So fast forward team meeting. So we're all just sitting in this room for like the meeting. So finally, someone decides to talk, and it was just about people not bringing in the speaker. And so I'm like, okay, maybe it's nothing about what's going on is about to be brought up. At this point, I was tired of talking about it. Like, I was moving on. So that issue about the little speaker, that was resolved in 1.5 seconds. And then Jay starts taking out a piece of paper out of her bag extra, all dramatically. So she's like, Mayana, here's reasons why I don't like you. I tell you, my face was just like, she can't be serious. Like, you were that bothered. And let me read off those 3 reasons, okay? I bumped into her friend at practice. She was referring to A. When she tried to talk to me at a game, I ignored her. And she doesn't like how I think I can talk to her anyway. So I'm like, if these are her issues, these can easily be resolved. So I turned to A and I'm like, A, what practice did I bump into you? Like, I don't remember ever bumping into you. She's like, it was just this one time at practice. So then I'm like, okay, I don't remember doing that, but I'm sorry. So then I turned back to Jay. And I'm like, Jay, what game are you talking about? Because I don't remember ever ignoring you. So she was referring to a game that was after what they did to me in that room. Why were you trying to talk to me like we were cool after what you had did to me in that room? So then I'm like, I don't remember you ever trying to talk to me, but I apologize. So me talking to her any kind of way wasn't addressed, but I kind of knew what she was talking about. So what she was referring to was, I don't know if I said this in the previous videos, but Jay would, after the meeting in her room, Jay would come knocking on my door and push past me to go talk to my roommate. She had done that a total of 2 times. The 3rd time, I was like, I said this to her face. I said, you're not going to be bursting into my room being rude to me. Like, if you're going to do that, don't come into my room. So this is why I believe this is what she was referring to, because these are the messages. So you would think that would resolve everything, right? No. We started talking about the whole me not telling my roommate about the boy situation again. So we start talking about that again. So what's very interesting to me, the 3 girls that were talking to this football player, they weren't saying anything. They were the ones that should have had the problem, right? But the only two people that are speaking are A, Jay, and me defending myself. Make that make sense. They might have said a total of a few sentences, but after that, they were just sitting back watching as me, A, and Jay going back and forth. And for what? Over their situation? At this point, the conversation's being dragged, okay? So, we ended up getting kicked out of that room. So we ended up traveling around MSU campus to figure out how we're going to finish talking about this situation that didn't need to continue to be talked about. It really didn't. So then we find a spot, and so we're finishing what we got to say about it. Jay decides to be like, she's so heated. I don't know why she's so heated, but in the midst of all this, she's saying, let me move my seat before I slap the F out of her. Excuse me? And so then, here's when other rookies decided to voice their opinions on a situation that had nothing to do with them. So then this creates a back and forth within the whole team. One particular rookie, I'm not even going to give an initial. She's still on the team. She decided to voice her opinion on me based off of what the friend group, I guess, had told her. Because when I left that group, she got close with them. So she had this very strong opinion. So I'm like, girl, the fact that you even say that when the first time you came around the friend group, the first thing you did was talk about your roommate, the one that you were supposed to be like this with. Like, are you serious? Like, please don't do that right now. So then her friend or whatever called herself talking about not too much. And so then that's when my friend said not too much. So this just created a bigger conflict. So a meeting that was supposed to resolve something ended up becoming a bigger issue. So now we're on to part 5, and now we're going to talk about the actual altercation. So this is part 5. There will be a part 6 because I have to be very detailed in this video to clean up this narrative they tried to paint to, I guess, justify or to, I guess, make themselves look better. I don't know. So a quick PSA. I don't know which one of you girls are making or made those 2 fake accounts to text my boyfriend to tell him that I'm cheating on him or that I was cheating on him. Let's not make up lies here. Let's not act out of desperation. Just because what you got going on ain't going so good, don't ruin what I got going on at home. Thank you. So I forgot to add in one of the previous videos, but this is very important to add for what I'm about to talk about. So when they put me in that room later that night when my roommate came back, I had apologized to her. And I said, I'm sorry if you felt some type of way that I didn't say anything. Her response was, girl, you're good. I don't even know why they're so mad. Like, you literally didn't even do anything. Like, I don't know why they're so mad, but they'll get over it. So this is what she said to me. So I was giving out apologies before it even had to escalate to this. Like, I honestly, truly, I wish I didn't apologize as much as I did. But because I did, I think it shows how much I tried to prevent this. Okay, so September 20th. This is when my family, my mom, my sister, stepdad, my brother, they were coming down to see me. So this was a very exciting day for me, okay? My mom had surprised me the day before to tell me that she was actually coming because I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to actually have family there because she was having surgery the day before. So my sister, on the other hand, the only thing she knew was that I was not friends with the girls anymore and why. And her response was, don't even entertain that. So I had that because they tried to paint this narrative that I brought my sister and my brother down there on family day to come fight. Like, no. Okay, so they came down on September 20th. They were happy to see me cheer, and I was just happy to see them there because I was like, this is going to get me through the semester. So as we're watching the game, a parent of a cheer teammate ended up talking to my mom, and she was basically asking her, like, how do you feel about this? Because that cheerleader knew everything about them putting me in the room. She was there during the team meeting, obviously, and just like the whole situation in general. So she asked my mom, how do you feel about this? And my mom's like, I didn't know any of this. So halftime comes around, my sister coming at me looking mad. I'm like, what's she mad for? She's just like, so why didn't you tell me and mom any of this stuff was happening? And I was just like, oh boy. And so I ended up talking to my mom and my sister, and I was just like, like, guys, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. And my mom's just like, do you want me to talk to any other parents? Like, because I can't leave you while I'm 8 hours away and this is happening. Like, I'm not doing that. Again, my mom had just got surgery the day before. So I'm like, Mom, like, it's fine. I didn't want her to get stressed out. Like, she just had got surgery. So I was like, no, like, Mom, it's fine. So my sister was like, you know what? I'm going to just go talk to their parents and the athletes that are involved. So at this point, it's 11 o'clock and the game is over. Like, we're all hungry and we're not even thinking about any of that. So I had to go change out of my uniform. So my sister and my brother, they came with me. So my sister also wanted to change her shoes and borrow a pair of shoes of mine because her feet were hurting. So we're just going to my dorm to go get ready for dinner. Okay, so we ended up going into my room. My brother stayed outside, and my roommate and her mom were in there. So my sister was just like, basically, hey, I'm trying to figure out what the issue is, because when we left, you and Mayana, y'all were close, y'all were good. So why are you allowing people to come into the room to be rude to her? Like, why are you allowing that? Why is stuff in her room coming up broken, missing? Why is that happening? So my roommate's response was, oh, I had been told them stop coming into the room being rude to her. And then her mom jumps in. She's like, yeah, I was on the phone with her as she told them to stop coming into the room being rude to her. And then she's like, about the missing stuff, my stuff is going missing too. And I'm like, so people are just coming into our room stealing both our stuff? That's when I had stepped in and clarified a few things. And so we ended up leaving the room and everything was cool. So before we left, me and my roommate had said we liked each other or whatever. Just keep that in the back of your head. So before my sister left, she said, I'm still going to check the other athletes and their parents to see what the issue is. So it was just like, okay, that's fine. Have a good night type thing. And we left and it was cool. Okay, so we ended up just walking out. And so we're just heading down the hallway, about to go and leave for dinner. And so as we're heading down the hallway, what do you know? We see J.A., her mom, and her mom's friend. She's like, wait, is that her mom and is that the athlete? From opposite directions. And so my sister's just like, hey, so who has the issue with my sister and why? This is where I have to just add something. So what I guess we really didn't think about is that everybody is from different places, okay? Everybody takes confrontation different ways. Some people immediately get defensive and feel disrespected, and other people, try to find a resolution. They were from a place that typically they take they feel disrespected route. So surprisingly, the only person that said something was A. A's response was, so if we do have an issue, what are you going to do about it? So it's basically just like a what? And then that's when Jay finally just starts barking. Her mom and her friend didn't say anything. That's why I was just so confused. So Jay's just barking at this point, and A and her mom's friend are holding her back. So she's super aggressive, okay? And my sister's just, she's exchanging words back because nobody's just gonna allow you to talk to them crazy. Well, I guess here was the problem. So my sister's obviously responding to her back, but she's not barking. She's not nearly as aggressive as Jay at this point. And for some reason, Jay's mom kept putting her arm on my sister's neck. And it was just uncalled for, so I was like, you don't have to touch my sister. And that's when I just grabbed my sister and said, come on, like, stop arguing with her. It's not worth it. So I guess that ticked Jay off even more. So she ended up grabbing my sister's shoes and threw them towards me and my sister. And so that's when my sister just was kind of just like, we just kind of looked at each other. And when I blinked, it was a bra. So part 6. I have to add something that was supposed to be in part 4. I'm missing very important details. But like I said, I want y'all to really see the picture of how bad this actually was. I saw the messages in the previous video about her coming into my room, right? So when I said to her face, stop coming into my room, pushing past me, not speaking, and being rude, she walked out of the room, and then that's when she decided to respond and send that text. So she called herself it was J-A-T, and the girl who I didn't really talk to, who had the strong opinion about me in the little team meeting thing, they were outside my door. And they were chanting, well, not they, I just heard J and T saying, "Be mad, tell her, B beat me up." If you know that song, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying not to curse. So they're taunting me through the door. But now that I think about it, my roommate was leaving the door cracked. So I say this to show y'all how Jay and them always needed the group to be bold. Now, back to the ghetto-ness that went down in that 9th floor hallway. Okay, so somehow I had Jay. I don't know how. But that's why I'm very surprised she would text my phone on that. So as I have Jay, something tells me turn your head. So I have her like this. I turn my head. What do I see? Jay's mom having my sister by her hair, falling to the ground slow-mo, okay? And then I see A taking her opportunity to hit my sister as she's already in the chokehold by Jay's mom. And then I see another familiar face. Now, before I continue, I need to clear up another narrative that they're trying to paint. They're trying to make it seem like my little brother was putting his hands on them. First of all, my brother knows not to put his hands on any girl at all, okay? And him, as well as other football players in that hallway full of chaos, were trying to break up the fight. If he was putting his hands on one of y'all, I think one of the football players or any of the males in that hallway, that would have been the first thing they took care of. Unfortunately, my brother is not a fighter because Jay put her hands on him, and he had every right to put his hands back on her, but because the way he was raised, he didn't. But I really wish he did. And there's also footage, so I'm guessing that's why they didn't bring it up in the hearing. But y'all around here telling people that he did. Oh, okay. So now let's continue the story. So that familiar face was my roommate. Where did she come from? I don't know. Amidst all this, me and Jay get pulled apart, and so that's when I lunged at my roommate. As I'm going towards my roommate, Jay and A are hitting me in the back of my head. In that moment, I didn't feel it. So this is based off the footage. So I started lunging at my roommate, and as this is happening, Jay and A are hitting me in the back of my head. Then my roommate turns around, lets my sister go, and then she starts hitting me. In that moment, I'm just like, girl, protect your face. It's 1v3 at this point. So we ended up fighting a total of 2 times. Jay tried to sneak me and my sister as I was looking at my sister's eye because she had a cut right here from her mother's jewelry. But it didn't turn out the way that she thought. Anyway, so at the end of the fight, I'm picking up my stuff. Jay is still barking. So I'm picking up my stuff. She's still barking. The only thing coming out her mouth is, "You're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly." So then I just look at her and start laughing in her face. Like, what am I even supposed to say to that? Let's not play here, girl. Like, I swear she was waiting to get that off her chest. This made her angry. So she's like, "You're laughing? You want to go again?" She didn't run up again. And I just picked my phone up off the ground and we headed towards the elevator. So that's the end of the altercation. But what is crazy to me, y'all want to know who texted my phone all confused about the situation after it happened? My roommate. Texting my phone all innocent, talking about some, "I don't know why this happened. I'm so sorry." Get off my phone. And her justification for jumping in the fight is, "I tried to break it up and someone hit me, so then I started fighting." But the video showed you came out swinging. So part 7, since everyone wants to know like the aftermath and the reason why it's taking so long to press charges. So immediately after the altercation, my mom and police officers went up to my dorm room to talk to my roommate and her mom. So when they did this, my roommate and her mom basically pretended like they didn't have anything to do with the altercation. So my mom ended up calling me, and I ended up listing everybody that was in it. And so then my mom was like, "Yeah, no, they were in the fight." And so my roommate's, I guess, response to that was, "Oh, I was just in the fight to protect myself." Whatever that means. So my mom told Officer Roberts to get all the names of the people involved and the parents that, of course, put their hands on her child. He did not. So we did not know at the time that he didn't get any of the people's names that were involved. And what's crazy is I also ended up talking to him after him and my mom had left the dorm. So I ended up telling him all the harassment I experienced from the girls, J and A, prior. And he also got a statement from a parent that was confirming everything that I was saying based on what her daughter had told her. So the next day when we had gone to, I guess, the campus police, they don't have any of this information. So, Officer Roberts, where did that information go? So the next morning, we head downtown to press charges. So we ended up getting all of the paperwork. We needed the people's names, address, all of that. So we expect that Morgan has this information because we told Officer Roberts to get all of this information the night of the altercation. So basically, long story short, the next day they were giving us the runaround and they ended up saying that we can't have access to any of this information until Monday morning. So this was just very frustrating because in Baltimore, I guess when you press charges, you have to physically, I guess, drop off the papers. I don't know. Mind you, we live 8 hours away. My family was scheduled to leave Sunday, that day. So at this point, we're all just frustrated and tired. So we're just like, now we just gotta go check on your stuff because you just got into an altercation with your roommate. So we headed to the dorm, and the night before they had told us in order to come back onto campus, we had to call for a police escort. So we did just that. As me and my family were walking in, my mom, my stepdad were walking in, I see M getting her groceries, and we make eye contact. So I'm guessing that's when she texted J or A to tell them that we were on our way in. Because as soon as we walked in, within 1 to 2 minutes, J, A, her mom, and her mom's friend just come out of the elevator. And J and A ended up stopping to talk to a cheerleader, another cheerleader, sophomore, gonna name her G, and they're just laughing. So then they start walking past me and my family, and J and A are looking at me as if what they had done, they were just proud. They held their heads high and proud. And her mom, as a grown woman, was doing the same exact thing. So my mom and my stepdad don't know who these people are and what they look like. So my mom's like, is that who put their hands on your sister? And I was like, yes. And my mom's self-control, I'm so like just surprised because anybody else who would be in that situation, they would probably be around 3 in that lobby. But there were students in there, and my mom really wanted it to handle it the correct way, which was in the courts. So my mom they just staring, and she just got this like smirk on her face, and my mom's just praying to herself at this point. So at this point, my mom and my stepdad are very upset, and they're going off because they're like, are you serious? Y'all have people that were just involved in an altercation and a parent who was involved in that altercation just walking around y'all dorm and walking around campus as if what happened yesterday didn't happen. And so then they were just like, no, we see that you guys are not handling this the correct way, so we're taking her stuff and we're leaving. They're basically like, yeah, we didn't know. And the president of the resident, I don't know his name, but someone ended up just suggesting, so hey, what if we just move her into Legacy? Anybody who stays on a Morgan campus knows that the campus is not that big. Like, Legacy and Thurgood are pretty much connected by dining halls. So what, they see me in a dining hall or on campus and they jump me again? Like, they did not handle this the correct way. This is why my mom was just like told all the officers and anybody that had a free hand to grab a bin because we're moving my stuff out of here and we're getting the heck up out of Baltimore. So we ended up getting a rental and we packed up all my stuff within 2 hours and we left. So we ended up waiting like a week. We didn't hear anything from Morgan. So my mom made me contact student service or something like that. And I ended up talking to a few people, and none of these people even knew the situation happened. Like, none of them. So everybody's just like, we'll contact basically people who are above them and figure out what's happening. I ended up hearing from them like October 10th, and then I guess they scheduled like a conduct hearing or whatever the 16th or 17th, I can't remember. So basically, to sum it all up, they basically were just crying hysterically. I don't know why they were crying, and basically just tried to trash my character and made it seem like I brought my brother and my sister as if we were the Avengers to come handle them, basically trying to hide the fact, like the harassment that they were putting me through before that. And it just seemed like the more that they talked, the more that they told on themselves and just showed their true colors. Because one of the things that stuck out to me is A brought up a conversation that we had where I basically said I don't fight. I said, I quote, I'm too pretty to fight. She brought that up. I don't know whether to help her case or mine, but she ended up bringing that up. I was surprised they even remember that conversation, but now looking back, like, dang, that was just like subtle foreshadowing. So basically, in conclusion, They suspended me until August 2025 and basically said I couldn't be on campus. But when I had taken my stuff out of the dorm, I had made up my mind that I was never going back to Morgan, especially how the coach handled things and the aftermath of the way things were handled. I was like, I'm never going back to Morgan. So now I'm just letting God lead me. It's above me now, and now I'm just letting Him lead me to my new beginnings in 2025.